Explore the world of Iridescia, the land full of rare gems, where you will mine them, exchange for valuable ancient relics to reunite the people in Gems of Iridescia.
And today we'll be teaching you how to play Gems of Iridescia, game designed by Roberto Panetta, illustrated by Sarah Freeds Conlon, and published by Rock, Stone and Dice Games.
And hello everyone, it's Stella.
And Tarrant here from Meeple University.
Alright, let's get to the classroom.
In Gems of Iridescia, players represent different clans, returning to the surface of Iridescia for the first time in generations. The land was home to many rare gems, and through the game, players will explore, then collect, and then mine for gems, cash them in to restore ancient Iridescian relics, and try to capitalize on the land's burgeoning but fickle gem economy. It's a tactical battle as players explore and collect tiles on their way up the board, ultimately to reach the city at the end. And whoever has scored the most points once all players have reached the city will be the winner. To set up, lay out the main board, separately shuffle face down decks of the 5 types of tiles: deserts, canyons, forests, ruins and cities, and lay them all face down into their indicated rows of the board. For example, these 2 bottom rows will hold the desert tiles, these 2 will hold the canyons, then comes the forests, then ruins, and a single row of cities at the top of the board. To the right of the board, place the 4 gem market dice, each set to the number 2, and the 4 black stone dice below on any numbers. Shuffle and place these 2 decks, the merchant items with this back, and the relics, which have a variety of slightly different backs showing different gems. Deal a market of 5 cards face up from each. In the 2-player game, remove all swapping stones and clever catapults from the merchant deck before doing this. These are the only cards marked with this green flag. Nearby, keep general supplies of all the game's resources: coins, pickaxes, which you can place on this persistent pickaxe card, and the gems: amethyst, emerald, sapphire and citrine. And do note, in this video we're showing you upgraded components from the game's iridescent edition. All of these components are considered unlimited, so if you run out, use a substitute. Keep the necessary royalty tokens nearby for final scoring, using all at 4 players, removing the scepter at 3 players, and also removing the banner at 2. Each player takes a player board with the matching coloured player aid, 2 mining dice, and explorer and score token, which are placed at the bottom of the board and on 0 respectively. Take starting resources of 3 coins and a pickaxe. Shuffle up the secret objective deck and deal 2 to each player. Players look at them secretly and choose one which they wish to keep, placing it face down and returning the other unseen to the box. Choose a first player and you're now ready to play. Gems of Iridescia is played in turns, starting from the first player and going clockwise around the table. Your turn is broken up into these 6 phases, which are outlined on your player aid. Some phases are mandatory and others are optional, but those which you do resolve must be resolved in this order. These phases are: to reveal up to 2 tiles adjacent to your current location, then to move on to an adjacent face-up tile, gaining its gem and rewards, then to take free actions on that tile, which includes purchases, mining the tile for gems, and selling gems, then using your collected gems to restore relics from the common market, then to collect the tile you're standing on, adding it to your personal scoring pile, and finally adjusting the gem market die for the type of tile you took. Play would then pass to the next player clockwise. So now let's have a look at each step in detail. First is to reveal tiles, and this step is mandatory. On all turns other than your first, you'll currently be standing on an empty hex space on the map. And in your reveal step, you reveal 0, 1 or 2 face down tiles, which are adjacent to your explorer and are either level with or higher up the board. In this case, these 3 tiles are the valid options which this player could reveal. It's your choice whether you reveal 0, 1 or 2. On your very first turn, treat all 6 bottom row tiles as if they are adjacent to and ahead of your explorer. Since they're all considered adjacent to you, you can reveal 2 tiles which are not adjacent to each other. Second is the move step, and this is mandatory. You must move your explorer into an adjacent face-up tile which is level with or higher up the board than your explorer. You cannot move into a face-down tile or backwards. You can move into a face-up tile which was revealed by another player on a different turn. It does not have to be one of the ones you just revealed. Having chosen a tile, you now gain the rewards. First, gain 1 gem matching the tile, adding it to gem storage on your player board. If you chose a rainbow tile, then choose any one of the 4 gems to collect. Be aware, each player may store a maximum of 7 gems at a time. If you ever gain above 7, then you must discard down to 7, not back to the supply, but by giving excess gems to other players of your choice. Only if all players were at their full capacity would you discard back to the supply. You also gain any benefit printed at the bottom of the tile, and these get stronger as you go higher up the board. These come in 3 types: coins, which are gained immediately from the supply; victory points. The purple victory point icon represents points that you gain immediately, and so upon gaining them, mark them around the score track. This differs from the green victory point icon, which is scored at the end of the game. The third type of benefit is the stone die, and when you gain this, take a stone die from the main board if available, and add it to your player board. You may hold multiple stone dice. If on your move step there are no valid places for you to move, and this is most likely to happen if you're moving slowly up the board and other players have taken all the tiles ahead of you, then move to an adjacent empty hex and restart your turn with a new reveal phase. However, as punishment for getting into this situation, you must choose and discard any 1 tile from your scoring pile, possibly reducing your endgame points. The third step of your turn is free actions. You may take any number of these 5 free actions in any order, and you don't have to take any if you don't want to. Purchasing an item card or selling gems of a colour may only be done once each, which you can remember by the number 1 on your card. The other actions may be played any number of times. You may purchase pickaxes at a cost of 3 coins per pickaxe. You may do this any number of times on your turn and may hold any number of pickaxes in your supply. You may go mining, attempting to yield further gems from your current tile. First, spend a pickaxe. Then roll your 2 mining dice. Then compare the results and check that gem's current value in the gem market. Each of your mining dice which meets or exceeds the gem's value is a success, and each success grants you 1 more of that gem. This roll would have been 2 successes. This roll, for example, only 1. If you mine a rainbow tile, then you must take the same type of gem that you took during the movement step. You may mine a tile multiple times on the same turn. The mining action is where you use the stone dice. When you mine, you may commit 1 or more of the stone dice from your collection to your mining efforts this turn, giving you an extra die to roll and an extra chance to roll a success. Stone dice that you use may be used on all mining efforts within this turn, but at the end of the turn, those dice are returned to the main board. You may purchase an item card from the market by paying coins equal to the cost showing in the bottom left corner. Take the card, immediately replenishing it from the deck, and add it to your collection. You may hold any number of items, but you may take the action at most once per turn. In this phase, you may play item cards from your collection. In each case, resolve the effect printed on the card and then discard it. Slight exceptions to the rules are these two cards showing the green flag in the top right corner. These relate to your position on the map, and you must play them at the very start of your turn before revealing tiles, rather than waiting till the free action step. The game's final free action is to sell gems, and this is the main way of earning money. You may take this action at most once per turn. You can use the action to sell any number of gems of a single colour. Suppose here I sold 2 of my 3 citrine. Consult the market dice to determine the current value of those gems, return the gems to the supply and gain the appropriate money. Since you can only do this once per turn and for a single colour of gem, you'll need to weigh up what's the most profitable and beneficial to sell at what time. The fourth step after completing your free actions is to restore relics, and this step is optional. If you can pay the gem cost of a given relic from your storage, then you may pay that cost back to the supply to take the card, score its immediate points, and collect it near your player board where its icons may contribute to further endgame scoring. Replenish immediately from the top of the deck. If you have enough gems to pay the cost, then you may restore another relic, including the one you just drew. The fifth and sixth steps are mandatory. The fifth is to collect the tile that you're standing on, adding it to your scoring pile where it will contribute to endgame scoring. Sixth is to adjust the market for the type of gem on the tile. This always increases the gem's price by 1, so here it's emerald, so we'd increase the emerald die by 1 step. If the tile you collect is a rainbow tile, then the market dice are not moved at all. The maximum value is 6, and so if the market is changed on a 6 value gem, the market crashes and drops all the way back to 1. This makes them a lot easier to find, but a lot less valuable to sell. Do note there are some effects that let you modify dice within the game, and these can be used for mining dice or market dice. All dice are considered fully wraparound, so modifying by up to 2 could, for example, turn a market 1 into a market 5. After adjusting the market die, play passes to the next player clockwise. The game will ultimately end once all players have reached the city row and taken a single tile from that row. These are the 6 tiles you'll find there, 1 in each gem and a rainbow worth 5 points, and the Iridescia gem, which behaves like the rainbow but is worth 10 points. Race to the top of the board first and you'll have the best chance of being the one to find this gem. Additionally, when you reach the top of the board, gain the highest remaining royalty token and score its points as well. You'll no longer take normal turns when you're on the city row, but when it does come to your turn, you get to discard any one non-city tile from the board. You can do this to try to strand your opponents who are moving slowly, forcing them to lose tiles from their scoring piles, and force them to advance more quickly. In this way, you'll be making a choice between chasing quick points at the top or taking a slower route to have more turns. Once all players are in the city row, the game is over and proceed to final scoring. To the purple points you've gained through the game, add any green endgame points which come from the objectives in the bottom right corner of the main board and on the secret objective card you were dealt during setup. Firstly, gain 1 point for every 2 gems of any colour you still have in your cargo hold, rounded down. So, in this case, 2 points. Next, look at all of the relics you've restored and check the icons in the top right corners. You'll now use these to try to make the highest scoring sets of 3 icons you can. Each card may contribute to only a single set, and the Iridescia gem icon is wild. There's often several permutations, but in this case my highest scoring option is to treat the Iridescia as law and score 2 non-matching sets for a total of 10. Next, score sets of matching tiles in your scoring pile. 3 points for a set of 3, 7 for a set of 5, and 12 for a set of 7. Rainbow tiles, including the Iridescia stone, are wild, so distribute to the sets as you wish before scoring. Finally, check your secret objective and score the points if you met it. Some of these will look at the relic icons we've already seen, and some of them will look at your tiles. In each case, you must use wild icons to represent the same thing you used them for this scoring. Some objectives look at relics based on gem type rather than relic type, and that's this icon in the bottom right corner of the picture. Once again, Iridescia is wild for these objectives. Some are more general, this is simply to restore 5 or more relics, and some require you to have the most of a certain objective, and in these cases, if you are tied for the most, you still score the points. After adding all points, the player with the highest score wins. In the event of a tie, whichever tied player found the Iridescia stone in the city row breaks the tie, and if none of them did, then whichever scored the highest scoring royalty token. And that's how to play Gems of Iridescia. We are using a prototype copy of the game, so rules and components may not be final, and do check out the project page for the game. We'll put a link to that in the description below.
And thanks so much for watching. Your like and comments are much appreciated. Subscribe to see what's coming, and have a great day. Bye!